Hello, everybody. Wow, it's been a long time since I've done the introduction, and I did it so well last time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Damage Check Reshuffled. I'm of course, is Captain speaking, Captain Team Absolution here. I'm joined with the wonderful, the great LeBraxton Express,
Wow, you put the lit in there. That's crazy.
and of course, my boy, the Keith Murphy,
How's it going, everyone?
the Irish God himself. Yeah, I still remember. I still remember his
Yeah.
nicknames. I lost it last time, but I got it back.
Yeah.
Um, Damage Check Recharge. We're so happy that you could join us here today. This is going to be a kind of re-return to the old format. We're going to talk about spoilers. We're going to talk about a topic, and then we're going to conclude with any questions that you may have, like as in like ask you to send us questions. Um, Starting off, I'm a little rusty from all this kind of podcast dialogue, but luckily Keith Murphy, the king that he is, has prepared a wonderful PowerPoint presentation to talk about spoilers today. And it's a very special spoiler day because it is Braxton's spoiler day, which is the best kind
Woo!
of spoiler day. Though Braxton loves so many decks that almost any Tuesday can be a Braxton spoiler Tuesday.
About to say,
Um,
it's always Christmas is if every day is Christmas. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's true. And his wallet's always crying, so it never knows what it's like to be full.
Mhm.
Keith, go ahead and throw us up that PowerPoint.
Of course.
he started screen sharing.
I did, in fact.
So we are cooking with Verena, which is probably no, I'm gonna say it. Actually, it might be the best deck I've ever seen Braxton play. Like Braxton, in terms of Braxton playing it, I've never seen him play a deck more methodically and thought out. And I've known Braxton since his entire time in Vanguard, and I can say that like he has played many decks methodically, none of them this well thought out. Keith, I don't know if you would agree with me or not on this, but
Oh no, 100%. I mean, after seeing him in, well, it was Duluth last year, with Braxton on this deck, it is like watching art. Like you got the chance to see, one of the greats like Da Vinci or something like that. That's Braxton here. This is his Sistine Chapel that he's just
Jesus.
he's
making.
he's just absolutely cooking. He's absolutely cooking with it. I can't agree with you more.
Quick,
So
let me go
let's
get a donut.
Yeah.
um Blaze Maiden Ardelay. So this is continuous rearguard Guardian Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Nirvana in its card name, all of your grade 0 talisman units can shield plus 5k. So, Braxton, how many talisman units are there? I guess is my first question.
Well, after the spoilers reel, there'll be two that meet this condition. First one is just good old regular trickster right here. He is a grade zero talisman, the boy, the one and only.
Who's the other one?
And we'll get to him in a second.
Got it. This is a rare, so not necessarily used in the deck, maybe. But let's talk about all the spoilers. Then we'll get Braxton's opinion on what actually deserves the spot, what doesn't, or if they all do. Hit us, keep with that next one.
Alrighty. The slides want to advance. There we go.
We got Blaze Maiden Isur. Esser?
Sure.
Yeah. Eh?
Escher. And why not?
What about
Uh,
it?
uh, Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, Energy Blast 3, choose a card with Verena in its card name from your drop, put it to hand. And then Act, rear guard, when you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Nirvana in its card name, retire this unit, that's the cost. Choose a Prayer Dragon from your drop and call it to rear guard. Um, Keith, uh, do you know anything about this card? Like I said, I know very little about the synergy of basically I just let Braxton stack cards over and over like he's playing solitaire until he tells me he's swinging with something.
Yeah, that's I feel pretty much in the same boat. I would say just from general card knowledge, I think the first skill is very solid because that's basically a free cycle when you can ditch your Varina basically for your riding
Hmm.
up and then just Energy Blast 3 and do that. I mean, I have other cards in like other decks that would do something like that, which I think is just great.
Hmm.
In terms of the cycling, this seems excellent, but I would definitely defer to Braxton in terms of how good this card is. I think there was a lot of discussion on this one being quite a key piece.
What do you
I don't
think,
know.
Braxton?
This card's really good. Like really, really phenomenal. Like whether you have to get a Varina back because you ditched it for riding, like Keith said, or just because someone's being mean and swung into it for no reason, you know? Just being a
Huh.
total jerk and swinging into your Virinas. He's just a boy. And you got to get it back. Like the deck, well, let me rephrase that. Nirvana itself doesn't use energy, so you're gonna have energy to spare. So no, great first effect. And second effect, like just swapping itself for a Prayer Dragon and drop, really good.
That's phenomenal. I mean, when I read it, I was like, this has to be good in some way. Also, and this will lead into, we'll go ahead and go and skip forward to the big boy, the king himself.
Well, I think first things first, we got
Oh, yeah, I
Talisman
was gonna say,
Two.
never mind. We got the other big boy, but the big boy small package. The killer kill boy, if you will, with the scissors. Um, Trickstar and Sundi, right? So first things first, in rearguard deck and drop, this card is also regarded as Trickstar. Now, did we get confirmation on can you run this and Trickstar, or can you only run one of these?
You can run both.
You can run
At
both. Okay.
if you want to run four of each, you can do that.
Okay.
Would you want to run four of each?
I don't believe so,
Okay. I
but you
figure
know
that'd be too much, but
who sees what the builds turn out in the future? So you know whatever.
okay. Okay.
Braxton is either absolutely correct or that might have been the worst thing he said in a long time. When you would choose original dress for cross dress, you may choose this unit as one trick star and one prayer dragon for a total of two cards. Also, auto, when your unit is attacked, you may move this card from original dress to guardian circle. If you do, this unit gets plus 5k shield to the end of battle. Last, continuous, when this card's outer dress will be put in the deck or bind zone, all of that unit's original dress into drop, or put all that unit's original dress into drop. Braxton, I think we got to defer straight to you first things first. Is this card good? I think it has to be, right?
No, yeah, this card's amazing. Like it's regarded as trickster, awesome. It counts as two dudes, awesome. It's basically a one card crossover dress. Uh, the fact that it can guard from dress for 10k shield, amazing. And the fact that it helps deal with, getting bound or, bot decked, really good. Card is all around just amazing.
Is it also a talisman?
Yes, Trickstar and all of Irina's are talismans.
So theoretically, if you guarded from over original dress with that other grade one, this thing would be a 15k shield.
Correct.
That's a big shield. That's
Big
a
shield.
critical trigger.
Big shield, big free.
That's good. I think also the last skill is what I think is the most interesting because I think it actually um protects the units that it's overdressed in or cross-dressed, whatever that last skill is, making it put all the stuff into the drop. Is that useful for you, Braxton? Instead of it
Uh,
going,
Yeah, because not the ruling as it stands right now, right? Wherever the outer dress goes, so does the original dress. So like if I had like a full stack of like five dudes under Sharava, if Sharava got bound, all those cards under it would get bound as well.
hmm,
Same as if it got bot decked. Uh, this card doesn't help in this case, but if it got locked into prison, all those cards would go into prison as well. Because they're all treated as like the same card, so wherever the outer dress goes, so does everything else.
okay, that makes a lot of
So,
sense.
so in this particular scenario of bot deck or bound, the unit card itself still gets sent to wherever it's gone to, but the materials get put back into the drop.
Absolutely. Keith, any thoughts on this?
Well, I did just have a thought. It kind of made me think of, the end of the Fast and the Furious of just like the two cars diverting off. It's just like the car with like all of the overdress going in one direction and then the guy going in the other. Just
Fucking Wiz Khalifa plays in the background.
the Wiz Khalifa. Uh, yeah, I think honestly, I mean, the deck ran Trickstar, and Trickstar was functionally just ran for his name pretty much. I feel like to get things
Yes.
like things to get going, and this thing is coming in here with so many skills on top of that that are all just straight value. I think even just you could have just given it that second skill of the Kant, and you would have been like, awesome, I'm in here. Like that is all I needed. And so, yeah, no notes. This seems fantastic.
Yeah, I think
Also,
they were like they added each I think they added each skill and then were like it was first like, okay, this card is regarded as trickster. That's a common. Okay, when you overdress, it counts as two. Okay, we'll say that at the bottom. That's like a double rare skill, you know? And it's like, triple rare maybe. Definitely triple rare. It's not a
Yeah.
triple rare on this. Get to me skills.
Yeah.
also something of note as well, because I don't see it. While it's typing as Talisman, its typing is also Prayer Dragon. So it does also work with the last grade one in the last
Got
slide.
it. Okay, that makes sense. Damn, what a good card.
So yeah, so you can spend the 3 energy to get the Virina back, and then tag it out for Trickstar and Suendi, and immediately cross overdress.
Fantastic. All right, let's see the big boy though. I think it's time.
All right, last but not least.
Oh, Bryson, if I don't see four copies of this SEC in your deck, what are we
Jesus,
doing? Do you even
Jesus,
like a protagonist?
wow!
Um,
My wallet, have mercy.
so crossover dress, one Trickstar, and one or more prayer dragons with different card names from each other. So can you do this with the Trickstar and Sundi or no?
Yeah,
Okay, disgusting. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, put this card into Soul Searcher deck for up to one talisman, discard it, and shuffle the deck. Awesome. When this unit is placed on rear guard by cross overdress, until the end of turn, the auto abilities of the cards put into the original dress by this effect do not activate. Put all cards from your drop as this unit's original dress. Can't rear guard. When this dude is a wall text. When this
yep.
unit would leave rear guard, put all other if it is put other than into drop, put all other units original dress into drop. When this unit is in the crossover dress state attacks, till the end of turn, this unit gets plus 1k for each of this unit's original dress. If this unit stand by your card's ability this turn, you may also have it get critical plus 1. If you do at the end of the turn, retire this unit. This card's good, man. It's just good stuff. I think the only, and I think Braxton will repeat this, and I think Keith you will too. I think the only note I'd give is that like it definitely is future proofing by making sure that those auto abilities don't activate. That's
Sad.
definitely that's definitely like yeah, let's not leave the door too wide open.
Hmm.
But Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that part, I was saying, it had to have been done because otherwise, one Artis of Arena was going to have like Yu-Gi-Oh tier combos like happening, which is like putting this card. It's just like, okay, activate skill, and now I have 8 chains that need to go off of said skill, and we're going to be here for a while. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I again, this unit seems insane for what it does. Like Strav was already crazy when it was doing its restands and beating you down. This guy getting crits and the power gain, which I don't know. I guess what would you say, Braxton? On average, this is about you would say what like 15 cards and drop, 20 cards and drop for the skills. So it's probably just like a functional double persona ride that you're getting every turn with this guy.
More or less,
Um,
and it's just gonna get bigger as like if the game keeps going along, it's just gonna get bigger.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, again, just seems like absolutely insane for it. So the one thing that I'm a little bit wondering is the second skill. Like it seems to me it's good for ditching early if you have just like multiple copies of it. I don't know, does it matter if one of them is in soul? Um, like does that do anything for you functionally? I don't think it does unless you just need extra soul. I don't know if you soul blast a lot in the deck, but
Yeah, you need extra soul because
okay.
like the main prayer dragon, the grade two, in order to use his skill, you got a soul blast for that. The countercharger prayer dragon requires a soul blast for that. There is a promo prayer dragon that you can just soul blast and call him from a drop. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. This guy, his name is literally Buzzsaw. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So no, extra soul is always good.
Okay, fair enough. So all planned, all according to plan.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first cards I've read where especially like again that auto ability not activating was the first one I thought to myself. I was like, oh wow, so Bushiroad is aware that they have a time limit on their rounds every turn or every round. Like you know that there was one guy in the corner of that dev room that was like, hey guys, like we gotta do something because the game's gotta be over in 30 minutes.
Yes.
Can't let this guy like run the timer for like 8 hours. But
I'll,
I think this card is nuts good. Um,
about to say a little caveat to that skill. So it only stops the auto abilities of the things that it sucks up from the drop. So anything you use to manually make him will still proc.
Oh, that's an important distinction, actually.
that is
Hmm.
huge. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think just as another note in terms of this guy, this is such a good, when you think about just game design, like it gives me such like fun Timmy energy when it comes to a card. I'm just like, I just want to make a guy and make him really big and just swing a big guy. And it's just kind of like to me, this just reads like a fun unit to play with. Like it just you
Yeah.
put all your cards underneath this guy and just swing.
Hmm.
It's just like 20 cards under an Arst Arena just because it's fun looking. So I
This
do enjoy this from just like a gameplay standpoint as well, this card.
to Keith's point, this is very much like there's three different types of learning, right? There's the learning through video, there's the learning through like audio, and then there's the learning through like doing. This is for the learning through doing kind of
Yeah.
guys. This is the like you're doing a lot of motions here. Like, and that's kind of I mean, it is like this is an anime. Keith, you're so right. This is such an anime protagonist card because it's
Uh,
very much like a like crossover dress. Everything into the dude. Like
yeah.
it's got everything I've got in this one swing. And surprise, it's happening twice. Like so it's a really cool card. I think it's designed fair enough. I think it's powerful enough. I think people who are like 1K is useless. I think those people are dead wrong. I think it's a very bad take. Um and I think if a game gets to Persona Ride and you drop 20 cards into this plus the other 10K, you're dead, dude. You're just dead.
Hmm.
So,
Um, and if you hit it with the Battle Door guy somehow, you're dead again. Like I don't understand.
if you do play that, that also costs Soul Keith, by the way. So
Okay. Another good call out.
mm.
All in all, Braxton, are you happy with this set of support for Verena? Do you think it can actually make the deck like strongly playable? Can it compete with Bath? Can it compete with the other stuff that's sitting on the top?
I'm gonna be completely honest because like even looking at all these like support cards, I don't know what like I have my idea how I would want to play the deck, but like come I think it releases in October overseas, but we don't get it till December. Come December, who knows what's gonna be like the playable version of this deck. I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna, rock the meta, but I am hopeful. It looks good. I think it's good.
Is it what you wanted to see from Verena, or did you want a new
I
Nirvana?
I got I mean I got nothing I wanted, but I got everything I needed. So
There you go. All right, we'll take it. We'll leave it to the comments to see what they think about this card and whether or not it's still worth being played, or like whether or not the deck works out the way it does. Um, But that concludes our spoiler reel. And of course, this is recorded on September 10th. So obviously, we don't know any spoilers that come out tonight that we might know before I guess we finish the call, but unlikely. Either way, it'll be just well, we usually cover the Tuesday spoilers unless some kind of big spoiler comes across every week. Or whenever we do this, which we'll probably try to do weekly if I can steal Keith and Braxton. Uh, that leads us into our segment today, which we are going to dive into the over triggers. And I know what you're thinking. Are we going to rant about them? Are we going to yell about them? That's too cliche. That's too old us, if you will. So let it be known, we still do stand against them. But look,
We've shuffled the deck.
they reshuffled the deck. It's over. Like, no, the truth is, the over trigger is unfortunately not going anywhere. If the over trigger is gone, I believe it'll be because the game gets rebooted again. And let's all just hope we don't go through one of those again. So I think realistically, the overtrigger is obviously here to stay. Do any of us here would like to see it go? We probably, I think, would all like to see it go. But it's here to stay, so we might as well live in the reality that we live in. Which brings us to the wonderful tier list. What overtrigger is the best overtrigger? Um, there we go, Keith. There we go. That's the champion right there. Coming in clutch yet again. Okay.
Mhm.
So we have some caveats here. One, Keith, Braxton, let's agree that one, we're gonna leave any of the collaboration OTs out of the discussion. So no Shaman King OT, no
Yeah, Record of Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Token
Bang, does
Ramu.
Bang Dream have its own OT?
There is a MyGo or whatever
My
OT
Go
as
OT.
well,
Yeah, we're skipping out the collaboration OTs. Only the nations and the generics.
which I hopefully grabbed all of them as well. If you guys see that I'm missing any, let me know, and I can quickly grab another image. But I think I have them all here
No,
for
you,
the
you have them
generics.
all, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
There's only four generics, and then there's
five
then
generics,
there's
if you count the very initial one that
oh
came
yeah,
out
yeah,
when we
yeah,
first
yeah, yeah.
got
My
here.
bad, my bad, my bad. There's five generics. Which is a great segue. I think we can all agree that in D goes the most generic of the generics.
Yeah,
Uh
he's the one to teach you the mechanic. Like it was like what's the one Messiah before it got a huge skill and a retrain that was just like here's stride and it's just like it's a guy that does stride.
he
So
gets you three cards and 16K.
yeah,
Merry
that's right.
Christmas.
Uh,
Um, but hey, man, do you remember like playing a not stride deck in in that the Neon Messiah was everything you had.
yeah,
Um,
Harmonix Messiah. That was the name
Harmonix
of it, wasn't it?
Messiah. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
Harmonix Messiah. Yeah.
Harmonix. Yeah, I thought it was Neon Messiah. That was right.
Mhm.
That was the
Neon's the
starter,
little
wasn't it?
starter. Yeah, Neon's the
Yeah.
starter.
Any debate here? I think that this one sits firmly in D.
I don't know, man. I put it in C, man. Giving two dudes plus 100 million. That's
Have
not
you ever
bad.
seen this actually get played?
I mean, no.
Indeed, it is.
Uh,
That leads us to the other caveat. We are taking these neither perfectly in a vacuum, also neither perfectly in the decks. You have to like
Straight vibes, baby. Straight
it's a
vibes.
no, 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 it's a weird gray area. You have to think about both. Like how strong is the card itself? How strong is it within its nation? How strong is it in the possible decks it can go in? And then vibes. Keith, I'm gonna let you pick one and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to I'll stage them all in B, I guess for now, and then we can then decide where we're going just to show them why
Okay,
we are discussing.
that's fine.
You know what, just since it's the next one on the list, let's talk about Elder Breath next.
Elder Breath
Mhm. If you don't
is
if you don't put that freaking OT in S, we're gonna
Yeah.
have a problem.
Oh, wait, before we keep going, guys, does someone want to have like the skill up to like quickly go over the skill while we talk about the
oh
OT?
yeah, 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 I'll pull it up. I'll
Oh
pull
yeah.
it up. I'll pull it
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
up.
can do
I'll pull it
that.
up.
That's not bad. We put out my handy
Yeah.
dandy Bushi now.
Which, just to revise, on the first one, it is just 100 million because it's an OT, and then it gives another 100 million to something else.
All right. Star Dragon Deity of Infinitude. Infinitude. Elder
What
Breath.
what a name.
Absolutely. Okay. It gives 100 million to one unit, right? And
Hmm.
then its additional effect is double the power and critical of all your front row units until the end of turn. And of course, you can, as with any trigger, you can resolve skills individually. So you can give the 100 million to one unit, and then it would double to 200 million.
Just in case
Um,
they had 100 million in their hand for shields.
yeah, in
And
case you were afraid.
yeah.
Just
So,
just in case you were allergic to odd numbers, I guess. I don't know.
Uh,
in all honesty, I think this one goes in C. I'm just kidding. It goes in
Yeah.
S.
I was about to say, what?
I think we can all agree this is an S tier over trigger. It is without a doubt a game ender. You do not survive an Elder Breath turn unless you have three PGs in hand. And he doesn't have any freestanding bank cards or rear cards. If it's three swings and you have three PGs, you have a chance. Or alternatively, if it's like five swings, you are at one damage, maybe you have a chance. Like
Yeah. I think this one has one of the highest potential damage, I guess, it can produce in a turn, which
yeah.
is what makes it so scary. It one, the power gain is usually just insane. Doubling your power is just so much. Like a unit that's 40k isn't even getting guarded with an over trigger at that point in shield. Like
Uh,
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, you're right.
I
Oh
So
think
no.
also I think what gives it an advantage, it and what I truly do believe is the other S tier, which we'll get to, is the only other one that if it is the second trigger checked in a twin drive and the first check was another trigger, you're just done. Like there's no way you come back from that. Because if you check, let's say for example, you check a crit and then you check Elder Breath. Now wherever you put that crit was an additional crit because it just doubled. Or actually two additional crits. Because it went up to two and now it's four.
That's what double means, Jose.
Um but that's what I'm saying though, is that like it not only in of itself is incredibly powerful, but if you just have a great turn and you check another trigger, you've immediately doubled its value as well. I think it's just devastating. Um, yeah, I don't know. Anyone want to add anything else for Elder Breath here, Keith?
yeah, no, I think the only other thing, like, it makes me wonder how much it has restricted game design in Brandgate because of this trigger. We
Oh
have
yeah.
obviously there's one very other clear example that we'll get to, that it will be an S, but this one always feels to me like any sort of like deck in Brandgate could immediately just cascade into nonsense because of Elder Breath.
I agree. Sometimes when I see like decks that belong in that nation in Breakgate that are like in a top eight team event or something like that, or even in a top eight singles event or a top 32 singles event, but specifically like top eight in the teams event, and I see like a random Breakgate, I wonder how many times you check Builder Bro.
How many how many times did you just obliterate your team?
Because I'm just saying, like, if you're playing like B Heroes are not a terrible deck, but if you're playing B Heroes, you're in top eight. I'm like, Elder Breath got you there. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves here. Either your team got you there, or that OT made an appearance one too many times.
Mm. Man, Ho
um,
Jose spitting on Ava's name like it's not a great deck.
I said some Brandgate decks.
Hey.
Ava, I'm not asking questions how you got there. I know how you got the invitation to the party. But let's be honest. If you're playing like Rockdivore or whatever that deck is called, Rockdivore's a Beyblade. But if you're playing the Met guy or whatever, they're all Met guys, but you know what I mean.
Oh man.
Okay, who's up
But
next?
Rockthagor's the Met guy.
Braxton, who are you picking?
We can go blue. We
Blue
can go down the
OT?
line. Yeah.
I think Blue OT. Keith, where do you think Blue OT resides? Where do you think it
Honestly, for me,
lives?
I think Blue OT is like the definition of like low A to me. It's just like you're never sad with Blue OT. It is like the tried and true option if you're not 100% like your nation OT is not like really great. Maybe one of the other triggers doesn't vibe with what your deck is trying to do. Blue OT has always got your back. It's always going to be getting a crit is good, getting a card out of your drop is good. Like those are just two good skills. You're never disappointed with it. So, which kind of is the skill. I mean, I was what's the word, simplifying it, but yes.
No, yeah, absolutely. Just for everybody at home, you get a critical to a unit, you get the 100 million as per every OT, and then you get a card from your drop of choice. You can keep it an A because
Okay.
Braxton, what do you think?
Honestly, I think B for blue is perfect for it. I think it's like just middle of the road.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna concur with Keith here. I'm gonna say low A. I'm gonna say mid A to high A actually, because I think I'm gonna be honest. Blue saves Keter or saves the Keter Sanctuary. Blue OT is so good in so many Keter decks, and it's such a versatile overtrigger that like I think to Keith's point, like if your nation trigger's not doing you good, blue's a pretty viable option. Um, I think I find it very funny because I think blue and red, which we'll talk about here momentarily, I'm sure, are very like universally useful. I think they're very good generic OTs. I put it in A personally, maybe a low A, maybe I can argue the A based on arguments, but I think it is a definitive A over trigger.
Yeah, I think what really like puts it into A, because again, it's not got the insanity of Elder Breath and some of the other triggers, but there's rarely an instance like I can barely think I don't think there's a deck that is going to be disappointed at getting a crit and getting someone out of the drop. Like there are some OTs in here that you're just like, wow, this does nothing for me beyond just like being like a huge amount of. Oh yeah, I'd caveat that statement with checking an over trigger is in fact very very good and will just win you a game, but like some of these will vibe much better than others. Blue OT vibes with I think pretty much everything. You just can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, we all can acknowledge that checking an OT is a game-changing situation, without a doubt.
Yeah,
But given that they're all game-changing situations, which is the most game-changing?
yeah, exactly.
Um, for my choice, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Let's get the Keter boy out of here.
Okay, Mark Noah, I think its name is.
Yeah, and this gives all units the ability to drive that attack in the front row. Um, so basically, you're just getting drive checks, additional drive checks. I'll go first on this. I think this is a C over trigger. I think this trigger belongs only in a few decks in its own nation. I would argue a deck in its own nation. I say if you're playing Bastion, you play this OT. If you play any other Keter Sanctuary deck, run red, run blue, run purple, run yellow, cheat and run one of the other nations. I don't know. Like
Elder Breath going in Razia. Let's go.
um that is my thought. I'll throw it over to Keith. What are your thoughts here on this boy?
Yeah, I think this one is now probably the first example of it has a good skill, but it is a very niche skill. Like to get the most benefit out of this skill, it takes a particular deck. Usually you'd want something that maybe is like restanding rear guards so that you can avail of the drive multiple times. Actually, that is probably the best example, I think, for this. Like you would want something to be able to use this as much as possible. And I don't think there's as many of those decks in Keter. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of superior call, but that does not a rear standing rear guard, which is very important as a difference between the two things. And so I would be of the same boat, Jose. It's probably more of a C. Again, like some of these, you could obviously craft a deck that would make them all S more than likely. But in what we have available to us in the current card pool, this is probably a C in my opinion. But I'll let Braxton weigh in last.
No, I agree. Like all OTs are game changing, right? But this one is so like restrictive in getting maximum value. It's there. Like
Exactly.
if you have to check this OT and then get even luckier to kill me afterwards, then yeah.
I agree. And like I said, I think Bastion's the only deck that makes this OT like really even. I'd put it in D if Bastion didn't exist. Like if Bastion wasn't a deck, I'd be like, you have to really, because some decks, even in Keter, like you have to, the way you attack, you have to disregard the idea that this card can show up. And if it does, you could be punished for playing the way that you were supposed to, when you could have gotten more draw otherwise. And that's my take on that. I think it's rightfully in C. If you're playing Bastion, for the love of God, run this. But also, if you're playing Bastion, there's some other cards you can run. Like you can run blue and still be totally happy with that. Because who cares if your other dudes are going to draw you more cards if you can win the game? All right, Keith, who's next on your list?
Since we already talked or touched about him a little bit, let's go with Red OT next. We'll go back to another Cray elemental. We're kind of doing a nice Nation Cray. So,
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like it.
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Braxton, I'm gonna start you off first. What's your thoughts on Red Up T? Where do you think he belongs?
Honestly, I'd put it in front of blue.
Interesting. Okay. 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 Keith?
I'm very undecided. This, I think, is probably the hardest one for me where to place it. Because I think red is maybe bottom of S in some decks, and very bad like D in other decks. Plus, it also I think has one of the highest variabilities in that it's very bad checked early. But like if you have the proper rear guard, like you are looking for a good rear guard here to restand. Usually, you think Blangmeyer with like Zamoog and a crit. You would think the new toys dragon, Blavilos, I think his name is. Any of those other like high value rear guards, where this thing becomes absolutely insane when you turbocharge the rear guard. But you can also check it turn, grade one on going second, and it's very not amazing for you to have that at that point. So it's such a high variable OT, in my opinion. I would say maybe B because of that, would be my thought. But I'll
That
let you weigh in,
is
Jose.
that's interesting because I'm torn because I think that both of you have made some compelling arguments. And I think that I can see it being in B. I do think it belongs in A to my previous point, but as a compromise, I would say it is tied with blue. If there's such a
Okay.
way to put to like obviously we can't put that, but I do think that they're tied because I do think the decks it works in make them fucking good. Pardon my French. They make them so good. And the decks that can't utilize it probably use another one anyways, but it is still a really good one if your OT isn't good in your deck, your nation's OT isn't good. These two, I think, are really they're the, in my opinion, and you guys can disagree with me. I think they're the first two options you go to. I think about blue and red OT before I think about yellow and purple.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
I
part
do
of
with
that could
that.
be because they're out longer, and part of that could be just because I think that their skills are more just generically good. So I think as a compromise, I think it goes in A. I think it's tied, and we just call it a scratch.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I'll concede the B and put it into A.
And then I think we let the comments decide whether or not red OT really belongs in B or belongs in A.
Look, all I'm saying is, in a vacuum, a PG stops blue. A single PG doesn't stop red.
This is true. This is very true.
That's true. That's true. My caveat to do in a vacuum, you hit this at grade one and it does nothing. If
Hmm.
you
You
didn't
can
have
still
another,
you
if you didn't
still
have it,
still a call, dude.
Actually, you could call it,
Hmm.
dude. Nah. At grade one, this does nothing.
No. Yeah. Also, in a vacuum, it can get pretty dusty. You might want to get out of the vacuum.
Oh
It's also
my
very true. I can't breathe in
goodness.
there, man. Why would I use this in a vacuum? I'll die.
Oh.
Speaking of Braxton, who you want to talk about next?
Let me see if we're doing. Actually, we can do Dark States.
All right.
Let's do Dark States. Keith, I'm gonna defer to you here, man. I think
Uh,
this is my only thoughts here is I think that this card is here's the funny thing about this. I think this card is incredibly good in a vacuum, and then in practice, I don't think it's that good.
no. This is an OT that you want to check it as early as possible to get the value out of it. Like if you do check this going second grade one swing, it's nuts. It's like such a good. You've just got plus 10K in a crit for the rest of the game because you existed and you're better at your opponent, and you could just say skill issue every turn at them as you swing at them with this OT. Um, the in practice though, yeah, you check this near the end of the game, and you're just like, wow, the PG just already did everything it needed to do, and this trigger is now just wasted. So it's I don't like Dark States OT. I think it's probably my favorite in terms of looks, like just from an art perspective. But I would be struggling to put this in C even. I feel strongly about D for this overtrigger.
Ooh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, it might just barely scrape into C, is what I would put it.
Braxton, any arguments here?
I don't know. I've played the game enough that I've been hoed by every OT. So I've seen them. I've seen them all at their worst, and I've seen them all at their best. So I'm just like, hey man, when you die. Like it's just no other way.
That's so funny.
Like
Um,
I've been hit with the grade one Dark States OT, and I'm just like, what did I do to deserve this? Why me? And it is a terrible feeling. It was in fact a skill issue.
I
Jose,
But
what are your
think I think I want to scrape it into C, but low C, like below Keter. And I think once again, this is a compromise between what you said, Keith, and what Braxton said. I think it's a fair compromise there because I do agree. Here's the thing: I've also been hosed by every over trigger, but most of the time someone checks the dark states trigger, it's later in the game and I'm already dead. Like I'm already dead. Like you check the trigger, you've just killed me more. Congratulations. Not so much a skill issue, just a I was already dead issue. Actually, no, I take it back. It was a real skill issue. Like I was already dead. Like you already did such a good job. This thing didn't do you any favors. And then when they've checked it early, I'm like, oh God, I'm now I'm dead. So, but it's so swingy that I have a hard time putting it higher than like Elder Breath is just devastating at any stage of the game. It is just a demoralizing thing to go through. Um, Red and blue are universally like useful, so they have their uses there. Um, Keter has one deck to its name that's like, hey, I do this over trigger. If you check this over trigger in this deck, you are a really happy guy. Congratulations, plus 4 cards. Um, with Dark States, it's like, I don't know if it has a deck that can truly utilize it to its fullest potential. So, long-winded answer to say, I think low C just literally looked at the generic and was like, goodbye.
yeah. All right,
Um,
Jose, which one do you want next?
I think so let's do purple.
Okay.
Let's get purple out of the way. Braxton, I'm starting with you.
I'm a fan of purple personally, but I feel like it's only so many decks can effectively play purple, so I'd put it in C.
Okay. And for those at home, this is another generic. We create elemental. 100 million as always. Additional effect. Choose up to one card from your damage zone. Put it into your hand. Choose up to one unit card from your hand. Add it to rear guard and it gets plus 10k. Or, I'm sorry, choose up to one card from your hand, call it to rear guard, and it gets plus 10k to the end of turn. Um, okay. So you're saying C?
I'm saying C. Like in the decks it works like great in, like if you have that open slot or if you timed it just perfect and you checked it and you had a rested rear guard and you can call over it for an extra swing, awesome, great. It's a heal and technically like a counter charge at the same time, awesome, great. But as far as like using the call skill, like it's so time specific and restrictive. Not everyone can use it effectively.
Yeah. The call skill is surprisingly awkward. You run into like it being awkward more than you'd think, I feel like, for something like this. And that does bring it down a little bit for me. It is specific, as Bryson was saying. It works very well in like games that want to go long, that already they can rely on their game plan to just close it out. And so something that just helps you get there, fantastic. Let's run the purple OT because it again, as Bryson was saying, is another heal. Like it gives you just that little bit more sustain to be able to kind of get there. So I would personally put it low B. That's where I was kind of thinking for it. But I think it is better than the other two things in C if we are putting it in C for sure.
I think this is a straight B. This is middle of the road over trigger. This is just it's a heal, which no one's going to be mad at. It's a call, which no one can totally be mad at because it's an extra attack theoretically. Because it's not open rear guard, it's just called a rare, so it is another attack. Could be. And it gives plus 10k, which is like kind of nice. And you could resolve the skills any order you wanted. So you could call the dude, give it the 10k, then give it the 100 million to really give it a good old little oomph. I think it's in the middle. There is nothing too incredibly write home about this, and I agree with Braxton. I think there's really a deck that can truly utilize it to its fullest potential, or that really wants to. Um, but I think it is better than the. I would sooner if purple and Keter were my only two options, I'd run purple most of the time. And that's kind of where I land on that.
Finally got one in B. Yay!
There is a middle of the road boy. All right, Keith, I think it's your turn next, right?
Okay, yeah, I think we let's go ahead and knock this guy out. I'm just gonna put this guy. I'm not even gonna put him in the B. We're just gonna put him in S. We'll
I
just
think
start the conversation there.
I think we can all agree without even saying anything, and we'll leave it to, we can leave it to the comments to really debate this out. There's only one over trigger on this entire list that has been banned in a use in a deck, and is Drag
Twice.
Beta twice, and is Drag Beta. Now, someone could argue that that is the design, the terrible design of Dragonic Empire to not think about, hey man, we got this restanding over trigger. Should we do something with that? Like, make sure that doesn't get abused? Nah, too busy. Too busy. Too busy making broken decks. Um, it, it was. I think there was no sadder look on my opponent's face that when I swung rear guard, swung Shiranui, restood rear guard, hit Elder Breath. Or not Elder Breath.
I was
Hit
about to say,
Elder Breath.
oh,
They called the
no,
judge and I was
no
done.
wonder he
No.
gave you that look.
And then I hit Drag Beta and I got to restand it again with triple drive. And I got to restand the rear guards again. Like, I think Keith will agree that he has had that happen to him, and I think it made him hate Shiranui with a fiery passion.
Yes, this OT is just like I think it's just because giving stuff to your Vanguard is always good. Like a restanding Vanguard is always going to be like there's at what situation are you going to be disappointed at restanding your Vanguard? It's so nuts. Yeah, no notes on this one. Just
It's just
makes me
so
sad.
good.
Oh, did I stop sharing my screen, by the way?
No,
No,
you're
you're,
still
we can
here.
see it.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So, but yeah, go
Braxton,
ahead.
as the person who's played Dragonic Empire in this group the most.
Look, the crazy thing is, like, this OT is like strictly boss monster dependent, but they keep printing busted Dragon Empire boss monsters. Like, what is there to say?
Look, I think dating back to the old days of Vanguard, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Be wary of cards with only 1 to 2 sentences of text. Leaves no room for ambiguity. And when your OT says, just restand the Vanguard, that's pretty good. And let me tell you something. I have won games because I checked it in the early game. I've won games because I checked it in the mid game, and I've won games because I checked it in the late game. There's never been a time I've been like, man, restanding my Vanguard sucks here.
And the whole time you're just resetting your Vanguard, and you look at your opponent like skill issue, swing again.
So I think it's yeah, no notes. To Keith's point, absolutely no notes. Let's do the last of the generics. Let's
Okay.
do yellow. I think yellow sits above purple, but also handily in the B. I think it can get you a ton of cards, and it can, if your opponent is trying to, cheat you out of the game, he can try to convince you that you're supposed to draw those cards, but you're not.
Mhm.
And you don't have to draw the cards, but you can. And it retire. It's a board wipe, which is pretty useful in certain decks. So
Not
I
only
think
is it not only is it a board wipe, it's a guardian circle wipe.
it's a Guardians of Circle wipe. Actually, you know what? I could see an argument for low A. Low A, high B is where I kind of put this boy. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I think I'm happy with this at the top of B right now. I think that it's one of the fewer ones. Most of these like just get so much better in the late game. This is probably one of the few that you're just like, hell yeah, if you check this early. Like it gives you such an advantage swing and like tempo swing with all the draw that you get out of here. Uh, it's again a little bit situational, which I think is what puts it into the B. Some of the other ones just like have the offensive power, like Red OT can just absolutely win the game by itself. Yellow is weird in that way that you do retire and like get your hit in, but it's not pushing in insane damage like some of the other top end that we have in the S's and the A's. So
Yeah, I think just to bounce off your thought real quick while I still have it in my head, the difference is like purple OT, like if you check it, cool, you get some cool stuff, but I don't know if it's going to win you the game. Red OT is red and blue, I think, are very much like, hey, if you check this, you could very well win the game that turn. I
mhm.
think yellow is a one where it's like, hey, I maybe won't win you at the turn you checked it, but because you just drew these three cards, you're probably gonna win it next turn or the turn later. Like
Yeah,
I've ensured your victory. Now it's just about futility. Like
yeah,
that's kind of to your tempo argument earlier. Like
yeah,
I think it like really swings the pendulum in your direction, but doesn't close it out for you.
yeah. The pendulum doesn't break like with the other OTs because you just swung it all the way around. Like it's just all the way up in your direction. You just have to close it out from there.
Exactly. And Braxton, yellow OT, where do you stand here?
I think it's really good. Like if your opponent tried to hard guard your Vanguard and you check yellow T, not only do you guarantee that your Vanguard's going to hit, but you're probably going to guarantee that a rear guard that just got 100 million is going to hit too. That's pretty gross.
Yeah, that's good, man. Well, we'll throw it up in high B. I think high B is good. I
Because
think
like
high B.
as I said before, like he retires the Guardian Circle too, so all that guard they used is gone. It doesn't, as long as they didn't use a PG, like they're
Yeah,
getting hit.
that's true. That is true. Um, if only retired PGs, then I'd put that son of a gun in like S.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation at that
Oh no,
point.
it retires PGs, just doesn't negate the skill.
Yeah,
That's true. Let's talk about let's leave the one know the least about where it belongs last.
Oh my
And let's talk
God.
about Stoicheia first. Which honestly I'm also gonna defer to you two because I think Stoicheia, I think it's a high C. I could also see it in a low B.
yeah, that's exactly where I was thinking of putting it too. I mean, it is just here's a bunch of triggers in your trigger, and that's just good. Like I would not be disappointed with that. Again, it doesn't have it's not a game a complete like, oh, this is completely over now because they checked it. It's certainly not looking good for you, but it's it feels kind of like yellow in the big tempo swing area of OTs for me. But
I agree.
I'll let you guys.
Braxton?
I don't know, man. Getting a crit front draw and a potential heal all in one. That's a lot, man. Sometimes you
It
can't
is
even
a
come back
lot,
from that.
but I think all of these are a lot, is the thing. So like how
Fair.
much of a lot is a lot?
About five triggers worth of a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that they're all a lot, obviously, or else we wouldn't be talking about them. But when I look at the six triggers ahead of it, I'm like, yeah, I'd be more mad if he checked any of those. And that's kind of my vibes check when we're putting them in the ranking list. I look at what's ahead of them. Is like, are there any of these that I wish he would have checked instead of checking the Stoicheia one? And I'm like, nope. I would rather he check the Stoicheia over the purple. Well, I could
I think
see
the
it
I'd
purple is
put
the
maybe.
one
I'd put
he might
about
be.
to say, yeah, I'd put Stoicheia over purple because Stoicheia is just, with the exception of missing out on the extra call, which could very well matter. It does everything purple does better.
No, no, no. I agree. Now that I said it out loud. Now, ahead of the five, I would be more sad if they drew three cards and retired my Guardians. I'd be more mad if he rested a dude. I'd be more mad if he got another crit and just killed me. And then the S tiers are for obvious reasons. I think we can all agree that checking one of those is a
Mhm.
definitive ending point of the game. Um, so I think we're all in agreement. I think mid B
Yeah,
is a solid choice there.
yeah.
And that leaves us last but
Last but
not
not
least.
least.
You know what? Throw it in D. Why not? I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my God.
Um, I don't know, guys. Maybe B.
I
I think
put
this
it.
one is a C at
You put
best.
that in C?
This one
Oh,
is just a +10 to all rears, isn't it?
yeah, for the whole game.
Ah, it is for the whole game, isn't it? Yeah, that's right.
So like it can literally never miss timing. If it doesn't win you that turn, it's gonna win you the game eventually. Like you are literally on a clock. How long can you realistically guard against plus
Yeah,
10K on
+50
everything?
for the
Yeah,
whole
plus
set.
50 for the whole game.
Yeah.
You know what? In the spirit of the bell curve, throw it on low B.
Oh my God.
Protect the bell curve.
I
Oh,
do I do think that it is though, like it does feel like a big tempo swing somewhere in this range, kind of one.
Yeah,
That
I
it
think, yeah.
maybe it's somewhere in here, like with Stoy, kind of.
I think it's probably tied with Stoy because I feel like when I've talked to Andrew, he has considered many other over triggers over this. So I think that the argument is that it is a B because you do strongly consider other triggers. Um, but it is a really good tempo swing. And if you check it
Mhm.
earlier, like early in the game, like to Braxton's point, if you check it early, like you're on a clock and it's over. At least with Dark States, it's like okay, I'm on a clock, but I just have to keep guarding the Vanguard. If I can keep guarding the Vanguard, this OT has been at least a little,
Mhm.
nulled. But with the lyrical one, it's like, oh, they checked this, and now each column is 20K bigger.
yeah.
This is a threat, and I can only outrun this for so long. Um, so I think tied with Stoike, I think is a solid job. I think that was a good analysis there, Keith.
Okay. All right. Here's
And
our
there it
list.
is. That is the definitive OT list. There will be no negotiation. I will not be taking questions at this time.
Oh my goodness. This is what we're doing. I thought we were changing when we said reshuffled, but it just seems like more of the more absolutes.
More absolutes, baby. No. For those of you in the comments, let us know which OT do you think is the best and the strongest? And when it's Dread Beta, tell me why.
Nah.
But that being said, I think that was great. Usually I put an Ask Absolution here, so throw a hashtag Ask Absolution, bringing back that old trend. Throw one in the comments. Next damage check reshuffled. We'll throw it in here at the end. Otherwise, I want to say it's good to be back in action a little bit. I think Keith and Braxton are incredibly excited to do
For sure.
a few of these every once in a while. Probably, like I said, I'm gonna try to do them weekly. So, but let us know if you like this. Drop a like if you want to see more content. Hit a subscribe. It's been a long time since I've seen that subscriber button get clicked. Um, Otherwise, this is the Irish God, Bill Express, and the Captain signing off. Peace.
Bye bye.